down from my car seat, Mimi is buried in there, and she's wearing a flower-covered bathing suit. An early version of I See Dead People that completely But the odd thing was, though, my image of her was happy. She wasn't a coffin, she wasn't a zombie. She wasn't really even buried. She was a phoenix, always rising out of the water, smiling in those flower-covered bathing suits. Or she was diving headfirst, magically slipping under the surface of the water, only to reemerge with a bright, fearless smile. It was as if she drew strength from each dive she took into the water, real strength, the kind of strength that builds you up and gives you the energy to take on the world. Moving into water, moving into fluid, generated an energy in her that restored her to whole somehow. And isn't that what we all deserve? To be made whole? Not made whole in that sense of perfect or lacking nothing. I actually mean made whole by leaning into your struggles, knowing what brings you down, and then releasing them, so you are free to navigate through life, so confident you are floating. To be lifted up, to feel the float, that weightless sensation of peace and understanding. This, for me, is moving into fluid. Facing that water and being able to dive right in. For a bad swimmer like me, it hasn't been easy, but I'm getting there. You need to know that I grew up on a farm. A vegetable farm in north central Mass, a good hour from any real body of water. My parents are retired teachers, and they still farm full-time. Living on our vegetable farm, my two older sisters and I were constantly reminded of the natural world around us. How things are constantly changing, shifting, molting, growing, multiplying, shedding, freezing, decomposing, composting, and dying. Growing up on a farm, it grounds you. The physical demands literally keep your hands and feet tied to the dirt. And tending those plants from seed to table, it's pretty humbling work. I mean, once your parents make you spread manure with your bare hands, yeah, you learn pretty quickly that no work is beneath you. Now, I didn't love the farm work as a kid, I'll be honest. Instead, the farm and the farm stand that we had allowed me to spend countless hours outside, playing and using the working landscape as an escape. I spent a lot of time on the farm dreaming of other worlds, other people. And living on our farm, it fostered my creativity, my desire to explore, my pioneering spirit, if you will. At age 15, I propelled myself from the safe haven of the farm and I went exploring. I was setting my course for a rolling stone that gathers no moss. I attended a boarding school, I headed to California for college, traveled abroad. I stayed in California for a while, but eventually I came east. And once back on the East Coast, I didn't stop moving. For a couple of years, I would adapt, mold, shift, adjust without missing a beat. Eventually, though, I found myself back in north central Mass, right near where I'd grown up. I didn't know it yet, but this move was about to ground my pioneering spirit and eventually render me emotionally mute. Yes, emotionally mute. When I first returned home, though, I decided to take on myself. You know, I had left home too early, and there was some healing to do. I also knew I didn't want to be a rolling stone forever. I had some stuff to figure out about that. So I did some real work. I did some internal rewiring. I won't bore you with the details, but I got brave. I really started expressing myself like never before. I kicked up a dust storm. And I think I was looking for new responses, some validation. But I got a lot of familiar refrains. And some I told myself, others were told to me. And maybe you've heard some of them before. You're fine. Stop overreacting. Just buck up and deal with it. Stick it out and things will be fine. You're crazy if you don't want to be with me. You don't express your feelings enough. Just let me fix it for you. Do you really think you can make it on your own? I started to feel uncomfortable and insecure in my own skin. Instead of continuing to speak up and express myself, I started cutting ties with that inner voice. If I was to I needed to reclaim the fucking soil.
Yeah.
It was toxic. But thank God for my best friend in the house tonight, Sarah S. My feelings were real. I didn't need to stick it out. But I was drained and depleted. I lacked the ability to feel. I was afraid to move. I literally bounced between clarity and confusion on a daily basis. It's like I didn't know up from down. I needed divine intervention in any form possible. And boy, did I get it. I got a gift of a lifetime. A harbinger of a lifetime. I got bed bugs. I am here to tell you that bed bugs saved my life. Okay, I can't see everyone out there, but raise your hand. Anybody have bed bugs? Ever? Okay, if we do so, we get a little lesson on bed bugs. Okay. They are nocturnal bloodsuckers, and they prefer human blood. They also don't like the light, so don't look for them in the daytime. Go ahead and think it. They are fucking vampires. They live off their hosts and suck their blood to breathe. There are actually 6 stages to their life cycle, and they can actually live 12 to 18 months without feeding. No, it gets worse. They have to crawl over 100 yards to find a host, and for a thing like that big, that's a long fucking way. Females will lay up to 12 eggs in a day, and despite what you may have heard, you can see them with the naked eye. Even the nymphs are the babies, phase 1 of the life cycle. And while not all people react to their bites, me included, they do bite, and they leave telltale signs of their invasion. But at this point in my life, I was so frozen and unaware of my surroundings that I denied the stains on the bed sheets, the constant itching. Talk about letting your body bear the burden. One morning I woke up at like 3 a.m. And again, this is when bed bugs like to feast. They don't like the light, so dawn is like the perfect time for them, just before dawn. 3 a.m., the day of itching. I won't even tell you. All you need to know. Infestation. I jumped into action, but I was calm, I was calculated. I went to the internet, I did my research. I called not 1 exterminator, but 2. I made videos, I stripped the bed, I found their nests. I captured some to show the building owner who didn't believe that they could be in the building. Even the exterminator hadn't seen an infestation that bad. I guess, the good thing was that they were contained in the bedroom. I made him spray the hell out of the apartment. But you know what? It didn't matter if they stayed or died. I had momentum. I had inertia. I had fucking nocturnal bloodsuckers feasting on it night after night. It was fucking time to swim, to jump ship. The first spray didn't work, so I made the call right then and there. Time to move. Opportunity in New York? Done. I'm there. I'm getting these bed bugs and all this other emotional shit I'm holding on to out of my life. I had my voice back. My inner anchor was up and the ship was moving ports. I moved, and 1 week later, a massive fire destroyed the building I was living in. Wow. It was a beautiful old building, over 200 years of history up in flames. Luckily, no one was hurt in the fire. The entire building and everything in it was destroyed.
The bed bugs.
Yeah. I probably still lived. It was a 6-alarm blaze, but there it was. A bedbug infestation and building fire so grand, the universe could only be telling you one thing. Move. You have stayed in one place long enough, you have done the work, stop beating yourself up, and get the fuck out of Dodge. So I moved. And that was what the universe said, and that's what I did. It propelled me, that fire, the heat from that fire and those bed bugs, I can still feel it today. It got me to New York, which is just where I needed to be. Alone and starting fresh. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, I laid down new roots along the Hudson River. But this time I was confident in the pace. When I left home at 15, I couldn't turn back. I tried to, but I was told to stick it out. So like a good kid, I didn't. I just kept running. Moving to Albany was my homecoming. course correction if need be. I think we all have times in our lives where we are just treading water. It's a survival technique after all. If you get tired while swimming, just tread water. But I gave away my inertia. I gave away my inertia. My ability to propel myself up and move with the current. I was letting other people direct me, and in doing so, I got stuck in the eddies, nowhere near the main current. Those bed bugs, they gave me back my inertia. They got me moving again. They got me out of my head, away from the excuses and onto dry land. They pulled me from the submersion and towards what I like to call, something I worked up with Lael, carpe fucking diem. You just have to seize the day. No matter what is coming your way, bed bugs included, carpe fucking diem. The image of my grandmother swimming in those bright flower-covered bathing suits comes to me a lot. Another Harbinger. I think she freed herself from all the things that kept her down and reclaimed her strength by moving into fluid. As a child, I hated the water. I learned to swim at a local community center where they threw you in the pool, basically you drown. I refused to swim without a bubble or floating device until I was 10. Even today, my best stroke is the doggy paddle, but I don't fear the water as I once did. In fact, every year I go to Mohegan Island here in Maine and I dive headfirst into the Atlantic. I jump right off the rocks in front of the house and I swim a few strokes and I float. I feel the float. And then I get out and I do it all over again. For me, on Mohegan, an island 10 miles out to sea, it is all about connecting with what is right. It is my rock and ocean all in one, the best of both my worlds. It's my healing place, my place of moving into fluid. There will be moments when I may need to swim for my life again, and there will be moments when I may just need to tread water. But no matter how hard or slow the water is raging, I will jump in on my own accord, and I will keep pace, always moving into fluid. There is a constant exchange of energy that will bring us through our cycles, and some will be longer than others, and sometimes we will need help along the way, but we just need to keep moving into fluid, cycling through this world like all water does, from land to sky and back again, one continuous and beautiful cycle of change.